Spread good, baby.
What is up, everyone, and welcome to episode 36 of the Spread Good podcast. My name is Brodi Nicholas. What's up, Mr. Celebrate Life?
What's up, man? Ready to celebrate life with everyone here.
Yes.
And talk about a very important subject.
Very important. Before we get into that, let's introduce our friends who you all know from the channel from early on in episodes. We've got Debbie Sath.
Hi, guys.
Krista Colgraf.
Hi.
Reka Dobo.
Hi.
And Walter Rivera, who's actually here every episode. You just don't usually see him,
so
but he was so passionate about this
Very passionate.
topic that he said, I'm not producing this one, I'm hopping in.
I have a lot of things to say about this.
And the topic is, I'm not saying it,
Tipping.
tipping culture today. So before we jump into this, we are all here to have a good time, tell real stories, real perspectives, but we're also here to get educated. So again, we're all looking to be friends after this conversation and not get canceled. So we're gonna have a good time, but let's start it off. Tipping. Where did this all come from? How did this conversation start? Because it's been going on for a few months.
I feel like it started because tipping has changed a lot in the past couple years. Before, I thought it was a lot easier. I knew it was 15%, and then past couple years, you have to tip so many different places, and you don't know what percentage to tip. And then, I'm just talking about that.
Yeah, no, I feel like I tipped on autopilot my whole life. And just in the last 6 months, I'd say that it used to be, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure it was like 10, 12, 15. And now I was out in West Hollywood and it's like 22, 25, 28. Mm-hmm. Big jump.
Yeah.
And you guys live in Hollywood, right? So like, have you seen those numbers as well?
Yeah, I've also myself tipped a lot more than that. But because I'm from Australia, obviously. In Australia, we don't have tipping. So when I came to America, I actually did not understand the tipping culture. And I was way over tipping everybody.
Interesting. Wow. Okay, so there is no tipping in Australia.
No, it doesn't exist in Australia. We have fair minimum wage. So yeah, tipping literally does not exist. So every time Australians come to visit America, having to calculate, having to take the time, having to kind of assess based on service, all of that is just so brand new. And I've been here for almost 6 years, and even now I'm still not used to it and getting used to it.
Yeah, no, that's great to know because I didn't know that about Australia. So, because I went to Ireland about 6 months ago, and I was like tipping, and they don't tip there at all. So that was very, very new to me. What about you, Reka? Do you guys tip in Hungary?
Oh, yeah, but it's optional. So
Okay.
you're really nice if you give the tipping is around 10 or 12%, but it's just optional.
What about Mexico?
They do, but most of us Mexicans, we're kind of cheap. So we don't really tip because we don't have enough money to survive. but if someone is nice, then we
A good 3%.
Yeah. Because we're nice people too. Cheap, nice people. Okay.
It's okay. You can say that about your own people.
Yeah.
But back to the numbers. Reka, I know you said optional.
Yeah.
And even when you said optional, you were saying 10 to 12%.
Yeah, so optional, but for example, if you go to a restaurant, it's just like you have a choice to get a tip, and the minimum is just like the 10% if you want to give a tip.
Okay, wow.
It's a bit weird, I know.
Because here I feel like you kind of get frowned upon if you leave a 10% tip.
Oh gosh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. You don't want to leave a 10% tip. I mean, unless it's really bad, like I can't say I ever have. Like I'm a standard 20% tipper, and I have to feel really bad or like they did a really bad job to leave 18.
Okay.
But I've also worked a lot in the service industry.
Which is great because that was a question I was going to have for you. Have you worked in the service industry in Australia?
Yes, I have. And again, no tipping. It doesn't exist. And if somebody was to give a tip, that would be a weird thing. They'd be like, why? And maybe as an insult. But you know that the service is 100% coming from the servers, and that, it's, not based on service at all. They're just doing their job. Yeah.
Okay, I have a question on that then.
Yes.
So what is the service like in Australia compared to America?
Mostly they're nice. I feel like I have some service from America where they're very overly like, hey, every few minutes, how's it going? Do you need help with this? That Australians don't do that, but I don't know if like Americans do that because good service is tied with the good tipping. I don't know about that, but yeah.
Well, going back to you saying tipping almost just doesn't exist. What about American tourists? Like, because again, my first few days I tipped in Ireland until somebody like finally just told me, you're like, no, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
So like, was it just you already got paid well, so it was just extra money, right?
Yeah, some of the restaurants there is like they're just not allowed to accept it. When I was as a kid I used to work at KFC as my first job. We had tipping there, but the machines didn't allow you to even press the tipping, and if they gave you the tip, we weren't allowed to accept it, even for ourselves or even for the company. But if you have cash there, and just say if it's like a service industry where it's just handed to you quickly, maybe some people will take it, maybe not. I don't know, but again, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, interesting, because one of my first jobs was Target. I worked there for a long time, and there was a couple times where I would help an elderly person out with their groceries, and then they tried to give me money, and I never took it because I was just like, I felt like so against policy. But looking back, I guess I could have taken a tip, right?
Yeah.
'Cause
Now they should
looking
have
back,
taken that.
man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if I helped you with your groceries 12 years ago,
Yeah.
come find me. Yeah.
My
Send me a
memo
Venmo.
is- Yeah.
So I went to Japan. Japan, they don't accept tips. I think it's impolite. They think it's impolite if you tip, but the service was great. I feel like their service is just great no matter what, and I feel like America should learn from that.
Time to level up.
Because I mean, it just sucks when you get good service, you leave a good tip, but sometimes I still feel bad like it's not enough. Or if I leave a 18% tip, 20% tip, sometimes I feel like maybe that's not enough. I just don't know what percentage to tip anyone.
Yeah, well,
Right.
it's weird when it's suggested so high. And I think we'll get into this. I know we have a long list, but like this different services, right? Because I guess we could just jump right into it. But
Yeah.
like, okay, so you go to a bar and you order a round of beers. Like, what is your guys' policy for tipping on that?
Bars and restaurants, I would always do 20%.
Okay, so even whether it's a craft cocktail or whether it's a poured beer, it's the same tip for you.
For sure. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What about you?
I don't pay for my own drinks.
That's
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
good-
20. Like if I'm buying food and I'm paying for my food and my drinks, I will always just do 20%. But then again, I have no idea.
Yeah.
One time I didn't know when I first came from Australia and I didn't know about the tipping, and they said, "Oh, you have to tip." I was like, "Okay." I was collecting like dollar bills and I gave them $1, and when I was supposed to tip for the whole meal, I didn't know that.
I actually have a story like that in Mexico. I was at a beach club in Rosarito, and I had like one of those unlimited wristbands. So you buy the wristband and you drink for free all night. But the bartenders obviously want tips, and I didn't understand the what's it called, the currency exchange. So this guy was like serving us all night, and I was like, "Yeah, man, I got you," and I gave him like 10 pesos or something, and he like threw it back at me because I guess that's like nothing.
It's 10 pesos.
He would take it. He would take it.
Yeah, that's like a bag of Cheetos or something, you know?
Yeah.
Just something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't happy though. He's like, "Take
Wow.
your 10 pesos back," and he threw it. I was like, "Oh."
Well, you see, they,
Because I think he was used to, because a lot of Americans went to this beach club, used to getting like $100 bill. So for me, I thought I was giving a $20 bill, which already was like nice. I was 22, I was like, that's $20.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It was like 10 cents.
Yeah.
But
10
my
cents.
God.
yeah, my bad.
Oh,
Well, what's the
okay.
currency exchange?
ungrateful.
Yeah.
No, but usually, well, it depends. I think it goes between, right now, it's probably like 17 pesos for $1. You were giving him
Oh, so I gave him like 40 cents. Not bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
2 quarters.
Walter was like, I'll take it.
I'll
Yeah.
take 2 quarters, yeah. But I mean, most people are like, I guess self-conscious when it comes to that. But I feel like any tip is good tip, right? Because you have like, instead of getting any like $0, if you get $1, that's $1 extra.
See, that's how I feel. But I also have never worked at a restaurant.
Yeah.
You have, right?
Yes,
So I love that
yes.
you have a different perspective on
Yeah.
this. So do you not? I guess so. You said it's fair pay, or in Australia you get paid
Fair wage.
Yeah,
Fair wage.
so we have a very high minimum wage in Australia. So even if someone was to work a minimum wage job, they'll be paid very well.
Okay, and then so for the service industry jobs you had, is it below minimum wage or how does that work?
It is, yeah. I just Googled it, and I think that the what like legal rate for service industry workers is really low. It's like, I want to say, okay, like look this up after I say this, but I want to say it's like $3.25 an hour or something crazy. So like for servers, the like national minimum is even lower than regular jobs. So in America, servers really rely on tips, but I think that, a lot of times it's cash too. So it's better.
So again, I didn't know that fact. So great to know that it's that low.
Yeah.
But I saw this, it was actually after we hung out last time we were talking about tipping and the algorithm hit and I got this like tipping video.
Yeah.
And I wish I would have hit this guy up because it was like 1 million comments. But one of the comments was like, I'm a restaurant owner in LA and I pay all of my employees very well. So any tip they get it's gratuity and we're very grateful for it, but I pay them so well that they don't expect it. I just thought that guy was a freaking rock star. I thought that was really cool because as we talked about is like when I go out in places like West Hollywood and to eat for 5 people, just food is $150. Like I'm already supporting this establishment. I feel like I'm supporting the way, but now I'm pressed to like donate another $30, $35.
Right.
So, but again, seeing it from the server's perspective, I get that. But then who should that be on?
And didn't I hear like supposedly some restaurants also take a cut from the tips, which is even like.
I've never experienced that, but I think. Are you talking about like how people will pool the tips?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So like at a restaurant I worked at in San Francisco, I was a host, and the tips would be pooled with like the servers, the bussers. I don't know exactly how they, kind of distributed everything, but the tips were pooled, and it really worked well for that restaurant. And I think that people end up liking it because then you kind of have more of a consistent pay, and it's not so like, some nights are like really high, some nights are really low. But yeah, I guess it just depends on the restaurant too. But the other thing that I just thought of was that like how in California in particular, there's also just so many fees when you dine at a restaurant. In San Francisco, like I would go to a restaurant and I would see like a sitting fee, at like certain restaurants.
Walter, you would love that, huh?
I will stand. I'm just going to stand.
That's still a thing. And then there's also like, I think in California, there's a tax so service workers can have health insurance, which I think is great, but it still is like another added fee, It's getting to be a lot.
No, it's
So
a lot. All the
confusing.
surcharges.
Yeah,
I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, and then sometimes you'll be at dinner and then it's like a $300 bill and you look at what you bought and it was $218, but then like this surcharge and that surcharge, and then they ask the tip on top.
Right.
And it's getting to a point where again, like I really don't mind tipping. I know we've talked a lot of crazy stuff before this episode, but it's just everything I feel like I'm responsible for when I'm actually like, if you really think about it, we're out here supporting local businesses. We're out here eating at restaurants. Like, I feel like the word I'm looking for is responsibility. Like, whose responsibility is to make sure that these workers are getting their fair pay? And I feel like it has to be on the business owner or the person applying for that job and choosing to work there.
I agree.
That's kind of how I feel.
I think it also should be on the government too, and also the community, like the politicians that are in charge of like, I don't want to get into politics, but like, LA or, the state should do more in terms of like tax money funding fair pay and fair wage. So I think like the tipping culture should be abolished 100% altogether. Everybody otherwise there wouldn't be so much homelessness. People wouldn't be pressured to like, pay the servers. And I don't know, I think, yeah.
No, I feel that. And that's kind of why I wanted to have this conversation. Because again, I tipped so on autopilot for so long that this year I really started just looking at my finances. And it's crazy, some of these tips, like when you add them up, what they could pay for in your personal life. Like, I'm not a millionaire yet. You know what I mean? So it's like, so it's just like, it's crazy, some of these tips. And I think we have something to say about like the social pressures, right?
Yeah, to me, it's the social pressure sucks. Like if you tip 15% and you're in a group, because when I go to dinner with friends, usually I like to pay for everyone, and I'll usually tip 15, 20%, whatever. But then people ask me how much you tip, And I'm just like 15%. If you want to tip more, go ahead. But it's just, I don't like the pressure of you have to tip more. If it says 18, 20, 22, I usually pick the middle one. So I'm going to do 20. If it says 20, 25, 30, I'll pick 25. Man,
See, so that's
so
the thing,
much pressure.
though. So how do you guys feel about those middles changing? Because when is enough enough? When are you like?
It's gonna be so
what
much.
is it gonna be when we all go out after this and the bill's $400, and then the tip thing says, "Hey, no pressure, but 40, 45, 50."
Right.
When is somebody gonna say something? Because that's what I want to know. Because you just said
Yeah,
the tip
I'm
in the
just
middle
gonna-
is 18, 22, or 25. That is a big marginal jump.
It is.
There's a button that says custom tip. You put custom tip, $5.
Is there always a custom tip button?
No, yeah, there's actually, sometimes it's not there.
Okay.
But I always look for that button.
And then he
Always
does
look for that.
3%.
Oh my god.
3%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you guys have any, I don't know, tipping stories from the service side or from the recipient side that you want to share?
I do actually.
Okay, let's
I
hear it.
have a bone to pick with Mama Shelter.
Okay.
I
And-
live next to Mama Shelter.
Okay, perfect. I have a bone to pick
we're
with
calling
Mama
out.
Shelter and a PSA for everyone. I think it's so shady when restaurants, bars, whatever, put the gratuity on before you tip.
That's what I'm saying.
Especially at a bar, and Mama Shelter does that, so you're warned. But
You heard it here first.
yeah, you heard
Yeah.
it here first. But I went there with a friend who was like visiting and was like, oh my gosh, I mean, like drinks at Mama Shelter are expensive, but I didn't think we were drinking, like that much. So anyway, like she was the one who was tipping and like is a super sweet Iowa girl, tipping generously. And I like go back over the receipt and I'm like, oh my God, you tipped 50%, like with the added gratuity,
Wild.
So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Like, I understand if it's already like, a group of 8 or you're a large,
For sure.
table or party, whatever. But we were just, a few girls.
That's
It was nuts.
Yeah.
I still love Mama Shelter for the record, but I mean, I'll be back. But
but we'll take a sponsorship.
yeah,
Right?
but watch yourself.
Make it better. Yeah. No, I mean that's what gets me is I feel like especially in social situations we don't take the time to go through those charges because it's kind of awkward if we're all out and I offer to pay for everybody. I'm not gonna be like, well, hold on, guys, I have to check. Like, I'm just gonna pay it, and then I'm gonna
Yeah.
feel like shit afterwards. Like, I think that's what I want to get to is like what you take home with you because I've done that. Like I
Yeah.
said, I don't mind paying for my friends, but then sometimes I look back at the receipt. I'm like, oh shit, like
Yeah.
it wasn't even my friend I paid for. I paid like 38% for some thing I don't know about. But like, what am I gonna do? Go back to the bar the next day? Obviously not. They like got the money,
totally.
and there's thousands of us going to these establishments every day,
Yeah.
and that's the conversation. I don't know.
I feel like you have to go into your experience and you had that wound cut deep because I think that's where all of this started.
Hope I was gonna leave that story out, but now that we're here, all right. So
Yeah. Get your water. Get your elevated
let me
water.
get my B12 in so I could
Yeah.
be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody knows this story actually. But so I was out with some friends, and how do I say this? I'm trying to find a way to say it. I'm just tell the story.
Yeah.
We go out, have a great night, awesome times. The next day we wake up and we went to, the restaurant, Butcher something,
Oh, Butcher's Daughter?
Butcher's Daughter.
Nice,
Okay,
nice, yeah.
so we go, and it's 5 of us. We don't order any alcohol. We don't order any extracurriculars. The only thing we ordered was an orange juice. And that actually didn't even come. The server forgot. Not a big deal. Okay. We were there. I'm laying all these facts out, so I have a story to tell.
Not a big
Yeah.
deal.
We were
Important details.
there for 42 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
42 minutes.
Who's counting?
Just
But
let
yeah.
you know, just let you know. All right, and we enjoyed a meal. Server was cool. Nothing wrong. But I didn't hear any like West Hollywood historical facts. I didn't hear about where the server was from.
Right.
I didn't get any dad jokes. I got like nothing, right?
Yeah.
From the experience, but it's cool. Served my food. Then the bill comes. And again, it's $154 for 5 people. Again, this is no martinis, there's no crazy craft drinks, nothing. For food. Okay. And then the tip thing comes up and they do the like like that.
When they look away,
yeah.
just to be
Just a
courteous,
question. Oh,
He's gonna ask
up
you a
to
question.
you.
He's gonna ask you a question here.
And it was 22, 25, 28 or something like that. And I pulled a Walter looking for the get canceled button. I was like, the custom,
Right.
the custom. And I put $20. Again, 42 minutes. Minimum wage in California, I think it's $17 right now, right?
Oh gosh. Even for servers though?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But
I
I,
don't know,
thought
but
20
yeah.
bucks was nice for
Totally.
42. And again,
Yeah.
we're not the only customer. She's got a bunch of other, like $20
Yeah.
in your hand,
Yeah.
right? And then so once I do the custom tip, it like shoots it back in your face to show you how great you are, and it's like you just tip 14%. So obviously,
Oh, it tells you the percentage?
yeah, because once you put the custom tip in, it tells you your custom percentage. Yeah, little calculator. But anyways, yeah, put my credit card, thinking it's all over,
Yeah.
and then before we leave, one of my friends goes, "Oh yeah, how much did you tip?" And mind you not, the
does it
reason I
matter?
was so worked up about this is I've auto tipped my whole life, and we started having this conversation about 4 or 5 months ago. So I've been, if I want to talk about tipping, I have to live that life. So that's why I did that, because the old me would have just put the 25%. But I'm trying to do what I say, and I did the custom. I thought $20 for less than an hour of work was nice.
Yeah.
You would think it's like World War III. When I told them, I was like, "Oh yeah, I tipped 14%." What? They like freaked out. It was just like, I don't know. They were just like, you would thought like I hit somebody or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, I felt like in that moment that I should like pull cash out of my pocket and like fix the problem. I
Yeah.
really felt that way.
Yeah.
But then again, it's like going through it, I was like, I got to stand up for myself. I was like, guys, I'll tell you guys later, like on the walk home. I just like, what happened? What did she do? I was like, nothing. No, it was great. I've been working on this tipping thing, and I'll tell you about it.
Yeah.
Then on the way home, I thought they would drop it. By the way, I had a bunch of anxiety on this walk home. I felt like a criminal. I felt like I really did something bad.
Yeah.
And then
Tips, you should, you know.
that's what I thought. I tipped something.
Right.
Again, and if you do the math for the skill involved, for the time involved, I would take $20 for 42 minutes. Right, Walter? Yeah.
Money's money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
So, anyways, on the walk home, we're like 3/4 of the way home, and I'm like, okay, cool, maybe I'm out of this. I'm out of it. And then finally, so can we ask you about the tip? And I was like, let's go. I was like, yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And they asked, and again, nothing against my friends. It was like, it ended up being a really healthy conversation, but it was like, yeah, why did you do that? And I was like, well, first of all, like 5 years ago, 15% was like a nice tip. So 15, and she forgot her orange juice. So subtract 1, even though it was really just an automated tip. I was like, it's kind of justifiable. Like
Yeah.
it was a great experience, and she messed up once.
Yeah.
It's all good. 14.
Right.
And it was just like this dragged out conversation where then one of my friends hopped in. It's like, oh, I actually hate tipping culture. That actually makes sense. And like, again, it was a healthy conversation, but for us to get there, I was so uncomfortable. And I guess the whole point of this story is that initial reaction was like really intense, to where like, honestly, I was kind of jaded by it, where I was like, I'm not going to eat with friends anymore. Cause it was like, I'm scared to like tip wrong or
Right.
anything, when I thought already just being here was a positive. I
Right.
don't know. So that's the story. It was probably
So
way more elevated the last time I told you.
I know.
There's a lot more cussing and
But does anybody relate to this? Because I feel like
I do, especially when you say like that it's ruining your experience, because I agree. Like the biggest thing for me is even going to get a coffee now, tipping is ruining the experience, because I go and get a coffee and I have this whole internal battle of like, am I gonna tip? How much am I gonna tip?
It's this,
and then it's like, right, is it gonna be 30%? Blah blah blah. And even though it's, you know, like now an $8 coffee or whatever it is, like it ruins my experience and my happiness, because I either don't tip and then I feel like an asshole, or I do tip and then I'm pissed because I just tipped for a coffee.
yes, and that's what it
You
comes
know.
down to.
Never
feel good.
Yeah.
It-
Answer
like,
the
you
question.
Can't win.
I don't know what to
never feel
answer.
good. You never feel good, and
Yeah.
that's where I'm
Yeah.
getting to. And that's where, again, I've calmed down on it since the last time I told you the story.
Yeah.
A little bit.
You
You've
saw me
grown.
like the weekend
You've
after.
grown. Yeah.
But looking back at it, it's like, yeah. Again, of course, I'm gonna go out with friends again. But I really, in my head, I was like, yeah, screw this. I'm not going out anymore. Like, I'd rather
Yeah.
just like do my own thing. You know, because it was that much like anxiety. I know it
Totally.
sounds a little over the top, but I really, you remember we talked about it for like a week, dude. I was so mad.
And since then, I've been a change man. I was like, no tips for anyone.
Yeah, and so that's where I want to get at is like, so these people at Butcher's Daughter, it shouldn't it be the butcher's job to make sure they're paid well? Like, because I feel like legally binding, I could have left 0. It's not like I stole anything. Like, I still gave 20 extra. That covers a whole meal. The meals are $18 to $21. I covered a whole meal. Like, I don't know. And then we go, the conversation too is like, what if we were there for 3.5 hours? We ordered martinis. I actually think that's a different conversation. I would have totally
Right.
tipped differently.
Right.
But again, the math in my head felt like this was almost quick service.
Yeah.
It was sit down, but we were in and out with no alcohol.
Okay, let me ask you a question, because I feel like this wasn't an issue like 10 years ago, you know? But now I feel like it's that tipping has infiltrated like every single service like industry possible. That's why it sucks, you know? Because it's like we used to just be expected to tip at restaurants or at the hair salon or whatever. And now that we see tipping on Amazon orders, you know,
GoFundMe.
Yeah, GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Like wedding dress shopping, I hear,
Yep.
you know? I feel like that is where it's like, I don't know, that's where it's starting to suck. Like, is that what you feel like? It's like burnout of tipping?
Well, it's burnout, yeah. And then
Yeah.
again, like going into like we're all trying to make it in our own ways and stay financially above water and like thrive. And I was just doing like just some basic math on how much I social tip. And it's like, wow, I could go on like way more trips. Or like when you really add it up, especially if you go out a lot. It's like it adds up. And then it's that feeling of like, they got me. Do you know what I mean?
No,
Especially, and I will say, I love tipping, a great service, a great experience.
Yeah.
But like, there's been a few like shitty experiences, and I'm still supposed to tip because that's what you do. And not even just tip, I have to tip very, very well.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's what's getting me.
I think it's I think Krista said the iPads, the suggested tip amounts.
Yeah.
That's what's getting me. Before it was always 15, and I never
Happily
thought
did
about
that.
it.
Yeah.
But now I see the minimum is 18 or 20. It just feels. I just feel like shit, bro. I want to do it. I want to do it.
Right?
There's nothing worse than seeing that the lowest is 18. You're like, no, you guys.
But that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Especially like,
You know what I mean? And no custom tip button.
Yeah, and yeah, that's even the worst. No, but also, have you heard like? I mean, have you seen that they do now the numbers like the other way around? So they do like high,
they try to confuse
the
you.
middle one, and then the low one.
And
I
you
noticed that the
accidentally
other day,
press
and I was like, they're trying to trick you, so it can be like, oh yeah, well the one on the left is the smallest one, but it's not. It's the other way around, and you're like,
It's just like the additional gratuity. My parents, when they pay for us for dinner, sometimes they'll put the additional, and then like you don't have to do that. That's just there to confuse you. Everyone's just confusing us and
winning.
winning.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
So
It's a battle. It's a battle out there. Yeah.
no, I mean Katie just went and got her wedding dress last weekend, and we're not talking about numbers, but it was it's more than like a normal dress, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They ask for a tip at the end.
Oh my God, like with an iPad?
Yeah.
It's iPads.
Okay.
Yeah.
We talked about the tipping on a $150 meal. Just think of a wedding dress.
Oh,
and this is like, I just am trying to find clarity.
Like,
here.
was the 20%, a 30%, 40% on
She's
wedding
actually
dress?
here. What was the percentages?
walking in.
Yeah. Do you remember?
I think there was like a dollar amount or something because I felt pressured to choose.
So she
one
hit
of them.
the
Custom.
Yeah, no, but
And I
it's
said no tip, and I feel like
that's my point.
Yeah.
Hey,
Do it for the ones who can.
You did the right thing.
Yeah.
it was like really great, but I just felt like shit putting 0 tip because it was a great experience. But I
Yeah.
just didn't expect
No,
it.
I'm telling you, it's
No,
all good
right.
because
That's-
the next girl's probably gonna tip 12 grand on accident, so it's all good.
Oh my gosh, seriously?
like it's seriously like that
Yeah.
crazy. I just don't.
100%.
I don't know.
There is another incident that when I was booking a restaurant with a group of my friends, we hadn't even dined yet, but they told us in advance that 20% would be added to our meal prior. And we're like, okay, but all right, we're still going to go eat there anyway. But
Right.
still, you know what I mean? Like, we haven't even been served yet.
And then you're still
Yeah.
gonna get the after tip
Additional.
afterwards.
Yeah.
They're still gonna ask.
I don't know. All the email said was that the total was going to be included of 20% tip.
Wow, no matter what.
Yes. So
Interesting.
Is it because you were a large party?
yes,
I
we're a
see.
large party. So
Okay.
I think maybe that played a factor.
Yeah, the
but
service.
still, you know,
Right?
I think it's just like it's gone too much to the point where it has been conditioned and ingrained in all of us. So I think that's why some of your friends got offended because it's ingrained in this culture that tipping, a minimum tipping is just normal and it's being normalized. But not only is it being normalized, the higher amount is being normalized and the people are being more desensitized to tipping, like having a higher tipping amount be there. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes when I go tip, I see 30%, the 40%. And then I feel bad, and because I'm usually tipping 20%, but that, you know, I sometimes have tipped 40% before. And I do want to give the, you know, service the amount that I think, but at the same time, I'm using my money.
Literally. No, it's gone. It's gone after that.
Nowhere to be found.
No,
yeah.
for real. It
Yeah.
goes so fast.
Yeah.
So I feel that. I feel that a lot. With that being said, different things. So we talked about restaurants, touched on bars, but what about different service like quick service food? Chipotle, Subway.
Or Starbucks
Starbucks.
drive-through.
So what are our thoughts there?
No way.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's
No
actually
way.
what gave me clarity.
Yeah.
Clarity. So it was 6 months ago, packing district, actually, Anaheim. My friend from LA, I didn't see him in a while. He came out, and I was like, cool, let's go to lunch. And I was like, yeah, I wanted to buy him lunch. So I buy, again, it's 2 sandwiches or whatever. It came out to like $38. Not a big deal. And we got these very quickly, right? It's just a quick service packing district restaurant. And then the tip thing came up. And it was like 18, 20, 22. And I remember feeling this anxiety. And looking back, he didn't care at all.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, well, I mean,
Right.
it's 22% or whatever. And I remember looking at the bill, the exact math. It was like $8 or something.
Yeah.
And again, of course I have $8, but it was like, it really bugged me. And that's actually what opened my
Right.
mind to this whole conversation. Because again, I don't even think he was looking. He was like on
Right.
TikTok or something. Like
He was on TikTok.
I was like, damn, like.
Yeah.
But I realized, whoa, for the last who knows how many years I've been doing that on autopilot. And that's when I started doing the math and looking at it and doing my little service time-based theory.
Was
Yeah.
it on an
Good for
iPad?
you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
You
you.
have to stand your ground.
No, but just imagine. Okay, I was just like trying to like do the math, same thing. If you think about it, like if you go out like at least once a week, every week for like let's say 4 weeks, right? That's like $10. Let's say if you tip like the minimum, not even the minimum because $10 is not the minimum anymore, right? But let's say you tip like $10 each time. That's $40. You know, like that's gonna be close to a gas tank here in California, which
That's not close to the gas tank.
yeah,
It's like half.
Yeah, right.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if you have the money, it's like, okay,
Great,
well,
yeah.
go ahead, good for you, you know. But if you don't have the money, if you have to think, it was like, okay, I don't know how I'm gonna pay rent next month. It's like, you have to think about those tips.
Yeah.
And I feel like some people that are like, oh no, like you should tip more and more. It's like people that are not thinking about the money situation, you know,
Yeah.
because they're like, we're off, you know, which is good for them. But I mean, there's people that are really struggling out here, you know. So
I actually thought about that.
Yeah.
No, because so off of that packing district thing, that's when I started coming with the idea. And then funny enough, that's when the West Hollywood thing happened. That's why I was so fired up. It was like, because if we would have gone out a month before, this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Because I just started doing tipping theory. Yeah. But I did think about that. Like, what about the friend in the group that really doesn't have money right now
True.
or is going through it and you want to be part of an experience and you even do your homework and you look up the menu and you see what you're getting into. And then you have to put another $20 on top of that. I feel like for some people really feel that.
yeah,
And I feel for that person, you know? And again, if it's an experience where you're getting a light show for 3 hours, again, I totally get it.
Right.
But if you're stopping by at like a quick service thing with all your friends on the way to an event, it adds up.
Yeah.
It adds up.
I don't think that's a good friend. If he's gonna give you shit for tip. You know, because who knows if you have the money, dude. Okay, well if you have the money, you know, pay the
You
tip.
cover
but-
everybody's tip.
yeah, exactly. Just pay everyone. But if you don't have the cash, right, it's like you gotta think twice.
Yeah, there's been times where I take friends out and we all eat. But if anyone ever asks me how much you tip, I say, don't worry about it. I paid for you. You
know
why?
what?
Why are you asking me?
You're right. When people ask me, I'm gonna just say 70% now.
I
Yeah.
pay for the
Yeah.
college tuition.
Yeah. Okay, so quick service. So any other thoughts around quick service? Like, do you guys tip Starbucks? Anybody?
I do
I
sometimes.
tip $1.
Okay,
Yeah, I
okay,
do
see?
$1
Yeah,
too.
custom tip.
I do $1.
If they say like good day, good afternoon, or something.
But if
you
I
know?
if
Yeah.
if I touch,
yeah, if they don't like even acknowledge my presence, I'll tip for you.
Yeah. Straight to
If
deal.
you ask how my day was, that's $1.
Yeah.
If you ask what are you doing later, that's $2. No,
Or how's your day?
engagement. Engagement.
Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
That's
exactly.
fair.
But
That's
in
fair.
here,
That's
I worked at
mindful.
Target
That's
for a
good.
long time. People
Yeah.
don't treat. I think that's why you feel the way you feel about service. That's why I love going to grocery stores and like calling people by their name, looking them in the eyes,
Yeah.
talking to them. Because I was that kid for like 4 years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, yes. So I'll tip on that.
But how was your day in here? Just like a hello, right? It's just
It's
they're
so
not
easy.
interested in how was your day.
It's
It's
exactly.
just a hello. It's just the bare minimum. No,
Yep.
no tip. Sorry,
Yeah.
no.
Exactly.
Okay. I don't want to get controversial, but
Let's get
You
into
are
it.
allowed to.
Let's get controversial.
do you guys think this could be Gen Z's fault? Because I heard that like people or business owners are more likely to hire boomers and teach them all these skills, you know, that Gen Z already knows for being the younger generation, whatever. But supposedly Gen Z is not, you know, the most like hospitable friendly, welcoming generation in these jobs. And I personally, I feel like a lot of times when I go out, it is like Gen Z where it's just like, hi, can you like just ask me how my day was? Like, I went to some like health restaurant in LA, God knows where it was, but I asked for like a Diet Coke and they were just like, yeah, like we don't have that, you know? Like just the way that we responded
Right.
was just so like, there was a different way to go about this, you know? So I don't know if it's like the training or like whatever. And like, I think Gen Z is so good at so many things, but are we just kind of, you know, going down on the service
Turns
industry
into
part?
Europeans, I guess, because we don't say just like hello, how are you? It's just like this is your stuff.
That's true.
Oh,
That's
really?
true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it depends on the countries. When in Hungary, we are just like, we just give it to your stuff and hi and
Straightforward.
say bye.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
not
Also,
interested,
you're also,
just
you're
how
also
are
not getting
you
tips.
and how was
Yeah,
your day?
right?
Yeah.
As often.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
So I
That's
think
the thing, yeah. Like, because when I first went to Italy, that was one thing that I noticed where it was just kind of like, it was really hard to get your server's attention. You know, it was very like, okay, like, you're just kind of lucky to have the food land on your table. Like, shout outs to Italy, though.
Yeah.
But, and the food's amazing, obviously. But, I mean, it makes sense because they're not getting tips. So then when I come to America, I'm like, oh, cool, maybe this is like a fun American thing where it's like it is competitive and you're striving to get those tips and you're trying to, you know, get the orders out on time. You're trying to be friendly and, you know, to all of your tables. So yeah, I just kind of wonder, like, it is a pretty American thing, right? Like, does anyone else, do any other countries, like, follow the same?
Like with Gen Zs?
Well, no, I just mean, like, with tipping in general. Like,
I don't
You know
think
what
so.
I
I
mean?
think it's
Yeah, I think it's a US
it's
thing.
a
yeah, in
American
Europe
thing.
it's very
there's Gen
optional.
Zs everywhere, right?
Yeah. Let us know in the comments. What country does your country tip?
Right?
'Cause-
I'm like, Gen Z, is that just in America?
But
Sorry, I wouldn't know why I was just thinking about Gen Zs the whole time and they're serving me and my service through Gen Zs in Australia.
No,
Right?
it's okay. It's okay.
no, but it's true though.
Yeah.
It is. I don't know.
Europeans serve like Gen Zs, I guess. And then like in
Yeah.
America, yeah, maybe they're just bringing like a European approach to
Part-
But if you know,
hospitality.
if you know, regardless of how your service is for someone, that you can just flip the iPad over and say, "There's a question for you," and then they're
Yeah.
pressured to tipping, then maybe you don't care about how good your service is.
Right. I agree.
Say it, Brody. Say it.
trying to hold all the bad story. I'm gonna delete my Instagram after this. But okay, so part of my tipping trauma also, 2 years ago, I was at the Pendry in San Diego. Have you any?
Oh, I've been there.
Okay,
Nice hotel.
very nice place. And
Pool.
kind of, yeah, stories are springing back so much. Okay, do you ever go out
Yes.
and you're just feeling good? I don't know, maybe something great happened, and just trying to spend some money. Have a good time. You know, go buy some drinks, have fun with your friends. Like, you just feel really great.
Yeah.
I was having one of those days. I was ready to tip everybody, you know?
Yeah.
And so Katie and I go to the top of the Pendry, see our friends, go to the bar, and again, I'm just really happy. Just really hyped to be alive and partying. And I'm sober right now. I haven't even had a drink yet. But I go up to the bar, and this girl, she's like this young model type looking girl. It was great. She was like the server or the bartender. And I remember, and usually when I go up, I just like go and hang. You know, I'm with Katie, so it's like we're just hanging out.
Yeah.
So just like 1 minute, 2 minute, like nobody's coming to us. So then what I'll usually do is I'll pull my card out to show that I'm you know, gonna buy something. And yeah, and it's not busy either. But finally she comes up, and again, I'm excited to interact with the server, takes her order, and then like doesn't say hi, literally not even a hi. How's your day? Like no engagement, super cold. And the reason I'm telling this story is I don't know if it's a Gen Z thing or the laziness, or I think I felt like she was like really entitled to, because these drinks were like $28 each, right? And then you get your drinks, and then the bill, it's $60, and then with the tip it's $72, and yeah, I'll say it on camera, I did not tip her.
Yeah.
Because I
Fair.
wrote,
I think that's fair.
no, because she was really mean. And I
Yeah.
remember thinking, I tried to like break it down in my head. Oh, am I like the creepy guys? Like, no, I'm like with my girl. Like there's like there
Yeah.
was no weirdness. I wasn't
Right.
like, I hadn't even started drinking yet. That's why
Yeah.
I was like, why did she treat us so bad?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when that automatic 22 I tipped, smile more. That's what I put on the receipt.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure she loved
I might
that.
be kidding. No, I left really quickly after that. Yeah, I was like, we're gonna go somewhere else after.
Yeah.
But I had
Yeah.
to do it. No, because
Right.
what the old me would have done is tip the 22% and felt bad like this mean girl robbed me.
Right.
And I'm just over mean girls robbing people.
I think that's fair. Mean girls, they've got to stop robbing people.
No, because it's like, why don't you, like, she easily could have just said, hey, how's it going? Hope you guys
Yeah.
have
Common courtesy, just
common
to say
courtesy.
hi.
And it was like,
You know?
I felt
Yeah.
like, is there something wrong with me? Like, she was just like mean and cold. And then when I saw that bill, I was like, absolutely not.
Right.
I think that's fair. Like, if you're
Thank
going to be
you
a rude
for the support.
server, you don't deserve. Maybe you deserve minimum wage, but you don't deserve extra.
Yeah, but I also wonder, like, Pendry, is this your appearance? Is this how you want your workers to interact? Like, because
Right.
it's not really a good look. Like, I'll be honest, I haven't been back since. And that was at the time my third time going there. I enjoyed going there when I was in San Diego with friends. I haven't been back since.
Yeah.
So I think that's the other part of it is like people are so entitled to tip, but what about just getting the job done and getting reoccurring customers?
Have you ever gone to Dutch Bros Coffee?
Yes.
So every time I go to Dutch Bros, everyone is very nice, very friendly. They ask for your day, what you're doing, or whatever. And it's like compared to people in Starbucks, it's like completely different. People in Starbucks is like, what do you want? And then, yeah, can I have a latte or whatever, Americano? And then it's like, it's to ask for a tip, right? And then for that one, it's like, I remember I have been in some Dutch Bros coffees that sometimes they don't even ask for a tip. I was like, oh, that's cool, So it's like,
Yeah.
that maybe depends on, like you say, maybe the work ethic of like the Dutch Bros, that's like, okay, you gotta be friendly at everyone, and that's part of the job.
You should have common courtesy and
Yeah,
not
exactly.
And that's what I'm
need to be
saying.
tipped
Yeah,
to
yeah.
be a nice person.
Exactly. Whether you're a Dutch Bros person or a model bartender, you should
Yeah.
be a nice person. And I don't know. That's just
Not expect
That's a-
more money if you say, hi, how are you?
right.
Yeah. No, that's
I
a
would
really
say
good
that all
point
day.
because from working at different restaurants, I've found that you can tell you can tell how the business treats the workers by the morale truly of the service workers, And like if you're at a good spot where they're, taking care of you, it elevates the whole mood of the entire staff, So I think that that's huge. And it's interesting you point out Dutch Bros because Chick-fil-A is like my happy place in LA.
Yes.
Is Chick-fil-A one of your favorites
Yes,
too?
I love
because
Chick-fil-A.
it's the same thing. It's like, yes, I love this place. Like everyone's happy.
Yeah, even
they
the
care
manager-
about me.
Even the manager comes in with flowers. Oh, do you mind if I put some flowers on your table? I was like, oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah,
Wait, that really
Love
happened?
Chick-fil-A.
that happened to me one
Wow.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he liked you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah, he looked.
But
Nice.
that's cool.
Yeah, right? But it's a good point.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, there's a method to the madness, I guess. And there's a way to do it. But what are they doing? Dutch Bros tell us, Chick-fil-A tell us.
Yeah.
There's got to be something.
And I guarantee you it's something very simple, like just being nice. Or just
Exactly.
being a good person, spreading good. Like
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
believe, some of these big organizations, it just starts from the top of doing things right.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Totally
and
agree.
and just watching the trickle on the way down because it can get definitely lost, especially with big restaurants, big companies.
Yeah.
But yeah. So with the bar restaurants we got covered. Now we're gonna talk about rideshare tipping, Uber, Lyft.
We don't want to get into this. Do we? Okay, Uber, Lyft.
Taxi for you Iowa people.
I feel like I usually don't.
don't
Yeah,
have-
exactly
we don't have
right. No, we
taxis in
have
Iowa.
Boji rides, and that's free.
what?
Yeah, we have Boji rides, and it's free no matter what.
Boji?
Yeah, it's called Boji rides.
Bad emoji.
No.
I am a little bit ashamed to admit this, but I never tip on ride shares.
Okay. So what makes that difference from like being a server or a waiter if you're giving somebody like a 27-minute ride?
I mean, okay, that's a really good point. Like, I feel like they're not really doing anything, They're just vibing. And, yeah. But this is, it's a good thing we're
love
bringing
it.
this up because, like, I've never thought about it. In taxis, I always tip. And I felt like it was kind of custom to not tip in ride shares, like it's not expected. So I think that's why I've never really tipped in ride shares. But in a taxi, I will, for whatever reason. And maybe I like go into it and I'm like, whatever, this is gonna be crazy expensive. Like, let's just do it, And then in the ride share, I never do.
Interesting. Well, I'll be honest, I'm the same.
Okay,
I just really wanted to create a
I'm like,
conversation.
yeah, anyone else?
No,
Anyone
I
else?
do tip though occasionally, but I love that you said that. Yeah, it's definitely sounds bad. My automatic response is no.
Yeah.
Especially, again, super cold. Not that I want to have like a long conversation every time I get an Uber, but if like you don't say like anything to me, it's an automatic 0.
Right.
But if like I mean, those LAX rides are rough. So sometimes, you know, I'll hook a homie up. Or like, again, a good conversation, or just like,
True.
I know it sounds weird, but like they're energy. They're just
Yeah.
like, you know, if they're,
Yeah.
I see them really hustling. I see them really
Exactly.
like making, like, I travel with luggage all the time, and like they hop out and open the trunk. It's like, okay, you're gonna get a couple bucks.
Yeah.
But I also am not. I'll be honest. I don't tip 28%, 30% on a Lyft ride for sure.
It all depends on the music choice that they have.
Fair. Also fair.
If they ask you what you want to listen to,
Yeah,
they
ask
give
me
you some gum.
choice. Yeah.
Oh,
like
gum, for
the one we
sure.
took from the from the LAX. They have a hand sanitizer on the back, and it was like fancy hand sanitizer. It was not just the generic one. It had like
Yeah, it's
Dove.
some Dove, right?
Yeah, it was Dove. It
Did
had,
you
like,
tip?
Huh?
Did you tip?
Let's
No,
not talk
you
about
didn't. It doesn't matter what you do.
No, but it was like, yeah, sometimes they have like gum or like some snacks in the bag. It's like, well, that's cool. Appreciate
Yeah.
that. You know?
It's still no good.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
It's like, good for you, but nothing for me. So,
I always tip rideshare.
Really?
As long
Always?
as long as I get wherever I gotta get safely. As long as I don't feel like my life's in danger while the person is driving, I'll tip a little bit.
we've been in one of those.
Me and Walter have been in some sketchy lifts.
Oh, yeah.
One time we took a lift from Long Island to LaGuardia Airport at like 3 in the morning.
Oh God.
Remember that guy?
It was wild.
He's like, "Can I stop at the gas station?" Like,
No.
could you not?
Yeah, right. How about no? Yeah.
And he like hopped out. He was like walking around.
And he was driving like very reckless, too.
Yeah, he was like swerving around.
See, that's
and I was
not-
like,
Yeah.
I don't think we tipped. No.
Oh, no. It was bad.
Do you guys have rideshare in Australia?
Yes, we do, and tipping not included. But I do tip here for ride shares in America. I didn't know not tipping was an option. Now that I know, I'll be thinking differently.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. What about in Hungary? Is there rideshare?
We don't have Uber, don't have Lyft. We only have taxis. And well, if it's nice and we have a conversation, yeah, I tipping, but not that much. But yeah, that's the 10. I think that's only the 10% in here, the taxis as well. Yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah. I think that's all pretty valid. All the points.
But judging how everything has been going lately with all the tipping, everything, like everyone's asking for tips. Soon, like doctors and like all these like places are gonna be asking for tips. It's like, hey, you had surgery, heart surgery, and there's a tip, 50%
Right.
for like $20,000 surgery or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's gonna happen. Like,
It really is.
everything.
So that's
We're
kind
not
of
far.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what I wanted to jump into, is all these different services that are getting pretty elaborate. What about service like content creators? Like we have an option now that people can give us like diamonds or stars or depending on whatever platform, but it's definitely not guaranteed. So like we've gotten videos that got $1 million, or I wish. We've gotten no straight up. We've gotten videos that have 1 million views
Yeah.
and $0.
Yeah.
I don't take that personal, like, because we're making content and we're trying to build something. But yeah, I don't know, because you do a lot more content. So do you expect tips when
I
you make
never,
content?
I never expect tips.
Yeah.
But have I got tips in the past for my jobs? Yeah, I have. If they were like cash and like, oh, here's a tip, I was like, okay, I'm gonna take that.
Thank you.
Of
Yeah.
course. But no, like I would never ever want to pressure anybody that I'm working with for that, and that added guilt and just all of that. To me, like I'm making content because I love it, because it's my passion. I'm not doing it for the money, so it's not even about that for me. But yeah.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Like, as the viewer, like people that are going onto our pages and really loving our content, it's a free service, really. If you think about it, we're servicing people. We're making people laugh. We're making people think about things. We're making people conversate. But we're not like flipping an iPad after like the video ends. It's like, what would you like to tip? You know? But
Yeah, that's what I like about tipping creators or subscribing is,
Yes.
you know, it feels like your choice. And I think maybe that's what sucks about tipping in other aspects, where it's like it feels like it's not a choice anymore. But yeah, if creators are making good content, like the first thing I want to do is like at least give them, you know, the $3 subscription rate or whatever. Yeah, has anyone ever subscribed or like tipped an influencer? No?
I mean, subscribe, subscribe, but
Yeah.
like, yes, as far as it goes when
yeah.
tipping now.
No, and that's really cool that you do that, because I think that's one, awareness to anybody watching this, like that's an opportunity. But two is like why I brought that up is like I feel like there's all these services again that like you're getting the social anxiety to tip. And now like if you go, oh my gosh, I love watching Spread Good's video. Oh cool, are you on their subscriber? Well no, like nobody's gonna think anything different of you. And I feel like that's why is it different, right? Why is rideshare or working at a bar or a restaurant different than making videos or having a clothing line? Like we don't get tips for, like we're really grateful if somebody buys a hoodie. We don't ask for like another $8.
Right.
Maybe we should.
Suggested.
From now on, suggest a tip. There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I brought that up. It's just like why is any other industry different?
Do you guys tip for food delivery?
Who wants to go first?
I do.
I do.
Do you?
Yeah.
I do.
I do
Me too.
But I feel bad about it because I don't even talk to the person. I just pick up the food, put it at my door, and I get it.
So I do tip for a couple of reasons. One, I heard on the Ryan Seacrest show that if you put 0, you get put in the back of the queue.
Whoa.
Yeah, so just heads up for all you secret no
Oh, no
tippers out
wonder
there.
my shit takes forever.
Yeah, see? All right. But 2, why I never tip a lot. I really do tip $2 to $3 depending on the size of the order. I always tip something, but it's very small. And the reason why is to your point about the before you dine charge. I hate that you have to put the tip in before you get the food.
Yeah.
I would much rather have a great experience, get a good handoff, see the person, and then I can choose my tip from there. But the fact that they force me to pick before the service is done, I always go below the minimum.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't know what I'm going to get. I don't know when I'm going to get my food. Yeah. So that's how I do tipping on rideshare or DoorDash.
Yeah. How much do you tip, Nick, when you tip?
15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a lot.
I always.
a lot.
It is
Yeah.
a lot, and
Break
that's
terms.
why my wife is like, don't order. You're gonna tip so much. And
Yeah. No, that's good.
And
I mean,
then-
I've heard that, like for grocery orders, like people will tip, but for like DoorDash, they won't tip. And I'm the opposite. I won't tip for my grocery deliveries, but I always tip for DoorDash.
So interesting because the grocery people are actually doing massive work. They're walking the aisles.
I guess I never thought about
yeah,
it.
they're like going places.
The DoorDash picks up a bag.
Okay.
Wow, we got
Maybe I
some
need to
clarity
flip
moments.
this. Maybe I need to flip this. But they're like delivering groceries.
But they're grabbing your groceries for you.
But it's
Most
not-
places.
but it's not cooked. I guess. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of.
It's like different. I don't know.
You know what we're going to start doing? We're going to start selling Spread Good hoodies and just send a little piece of the garment. You just put your hoodie together.
You're right. Yeah, I guess I never thought about it like that way. And it's not like I order like a ton of groceries. It's like probably 2 bags. But maybe this is why. Because like if I go to a restaurant, I tip. But like if I go to the grocery store, no tip.
Have you ever worked at a grocery store?
No.
There it is. That's why I'm passionate about grocery
Okay,
stores.
that
And
makes
you're passionate about, no, it really is all perspective.
That
It's all
totally makes
perspective.
sense. Yeah.
So tip your grocery driver.
Okay.
No, I feel that though. I feel that. How is getting your groceries delivered, by the way? Is it like actually right all the time, or?
Yeah, for the most part. Like sometimes they'll swap the items and, like that can be annoying. Or like it'll no longer be like in stock. But I'm a huge proponent of ordering your groceries.
No, I hate shopping. That's actually
Yeah.
one thing I really don't enjoy.
Yeah,
And
right?
so we started doing Target pickup, which is great.
cool. Yeah.
But what we've noticed in some of those delivery groceries, they swap things. And for us that are super macro counting and like on specific counts, it's hard when you get like, you ask for the fat-free mayonnaise and they send like the regular one.
Right,
And it's like
yeah.
a lot of work to go back and return it. But that's good that
Totally.
it's worked out.
Yeah, no, I like it.
All right, I'm gonna say something just because like I don't want everyone to think that I'm a cheap ass Mexican. So I think the ones that actually do need, and I always tip them, is eloteros or street vendors. If I get something out of them, I will always give them a tip because
that's-
like they're
It's like the hot dog guy.
yeah like no hot dog guys.
Like the
No
fruit
wait,
stands.
I haven't got to. Oh yeah, the hot dog guy. When you go to like the bar and then there's like someone selling hot dogs and you're just like really hangover and hungry and you just get a hot dog. Yeah, I will give him like a tip out of them. Or like the corn.
Or the
Elote?
flower
Elote?
people. The
Yeah.
people who do the flowers and the roses on the side.
Yes,
I
on the
always-
side of the street. Yeah, like
Yeah.
sometimes if the flowers are like I don't know, like $15 and I have a 20, I just like keep it to change or whatever.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
I feel like people that are working outside, like trying to sell you something in the hot weather or like cold or whatever it is. I feel like they do deserve something extra, and especially because they're like really hustling down. It's not like they have like a stable job where like oh yeah, you work, you get your minimum, you get your hours, and you get your pay. It's like these guys are just making their money out of what they sell, you know. So it's like I think those are the ones I'm more conscious about tipping them than someone that actually works at, you know,
Yeah.
an establishment.
I like that.
I feel like they're all hustlers, and because they're hustlers, they're never going to be entitled of a tip, you know?
Yes.
And I feel like that's why I always treat, like, you know, will tip the street vendors. One, because I see them, like, out there doing the most. And two, they're always happy and really, like, gracious about it, you know? It's never like, oh, why did you only give me $2?
Right.
You know, so I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point. It's like, I feel so much better about, like, going to the fruit stands. Like, I'm obsessed with the fruit stands in LA. Just
Cheers to the fruit stands.
yeah, shout outs to the fruit stands, yeah. But yeah, they're always, I don't know, like rain or shine, they're out there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I always like feel self-conscious about them, you know. And I like to help them out. So please don't hate me. Everyone else that don't tip.
Do you guys tip on your takeout?
Isn't takeout like DoorDash and like?
That's what I thought. Yeah, so it's kind of the same, but like if you were to
No,
order
you
something,
go
you
over
drive
there
and pick it up. So you have to
And you
drive
just get
there.
it from the.
Oh, that I don't tip. That one I definitely don't tip.
I do if it's a big order.
Okay.
And also depending on how the person treats me.
See?
Yep.
Everybody say hi. How's it going?
Yeah.
Can I make you $7? Yeah, smile.
Yeah.
No, that's a great point.
But I never expected that at restaurants that I was working at, so I don't think you have to. I don't think it's like
I don't generally.
mandatory.
Yeah. What about you? You tip your takeout?
Yeah, I'm gonna start not tipping.
Yeah.
I just
Nick is a
feel, I just
tipper.
feel bad.
MVP.
I'm like, I gotta tip, but I'm never gonna tip again.
Yeah. Good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Welcome to the club.
I'm just kidding. I'm gonna tip. Please give me my food.
No, you know it's funny. Like since we started this conversation with the whole tipping thing, I feel like I've been more conscious about like tipping because honestly, before I don't feel guilty or anything like that if I tip $5 for like a $80 meal. I feel like it's $5 is $5, you know. And but now since we started talking about it, it's like now I've been more conscious about like tipping on, but at the same time it's like I'm being more selective about where to tip. So if you just flip the iPad, type a couple things, and flip it, it's like no.
When
There's
did you
no
say
tip.
hello and how are you? How
Okay,
was your
maybe
day?
$1 custom tip, yeah. But if it's like, if I go sit down, you bring me the food or something like that, I'll leave something, you know.
Yeah.
But it's never like I have never felt guilty out of tipping like a few dollars. I just
Me
like feel
neither.
like money
Till
is money.
This year.
So this year, that's what I'm
I
saying.
feel
and
like-
that's,
or
that
last
was-
year. Last year.
That was the point of this conversation.
Yeah.
Is I just wanted everybody to be conscious of it. Whether this makes you want to tip more or it makes you never want to tip again.
Yeah.
No, seriously, like that wasn't the point of this. I know we all joked for a couple months as we produced this episode about like, oh, this is about not tipping people. It's really not. It's just about don't give away your mortgage
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
somebody, to a mean girl at a bar. So
Right.
yeah, you know, because
Yeah.
it really does happen so fast. And that's what hit me is like, I'm not even, tipping. And then the anxiety and the social pressure is like Walter said, I never felt bad. It's like, I'll be honest, I felt bad like a few times. And it's like not a good feeling when I'm just trying to spend quality time with people, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Or just, you know, usually what we do. I mean, when I was in high school, we used to do this, and people are gonna hate us. But so we used to have like a bunch of dollars, just like wrap them up and then just leave them in there. And it's like you don't know how many dollars are there. They're dollars. They're stiff in there, but it's like it looks more than $3. So that's what we try to do.
I would have hated you for that. For sure.
Right.
100%.
There was or always put like okay, it's 5. You know, it looks like a lot of 5s, but it's like 5 and like $2 more. You know, but that's what we used to.
That's awesome.
You don't do that anymore, right?
Something.
I feel so bad for the people watching this podcast that work at a restaurant and see Walter walk in.
Oh, it's like
Yeah, now
for
everyone
fuck's
knows,
sake, you know?
Walter. Everyone's like, nope, you get that table.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, we'll see. They're gonna be sitting,
Just say hi. How are you?
You might have a change of heart.
Yeah,
Right.
I think I won't
Just
be
bring
able
him
to.
flowers. Yeah. Flowers.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A flowers.
Chick-fil-A,
Chick-fil-A?
Dutch Bros, you're good.
Yeah,
Tips
you
all
always
day.
get maybe get them.
And then the last topic is catering. So kind of like takeout. But for those of you who have done events or fundraisers, has anybody ever ordered catering?
I've done catering. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Do you tip catering?
I tip catering for the people who are working for the servers at the back, working as a team.
Okay.
I feel bad. I feel like I'm paying everybody as a team.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's good perspective.
I don't tip catering.
Okay.
Are you supposed to tip catering?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Sorry. So I let me make sure we're all on the
Sorry,
same
yeah,
page.
like-
No catering. So there's catering. Obviously, like if you're hiring like one of those catering vans, they come in and do their event. I'm more talking like takeout. Like so, let's say I was throwing a party here and I ordered
Oh.
$800 of sandwiches from Jersey Mike's. Would you tip that?
Oh,
And
I
I'm
was-
going to pick up.
I was
Yeah, you were
talking
thinking
about-
of like like a wedding,
Yeah.
right?
But
Or
a
something.
smaller one.
Yeah,
smaller
like
one.
and we go pick it up. Like they don't drive it to us.
Oh, then no, I don't tip that.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No way.
No.
I bet Nick tips.
Yeah,
that's
good
it.
tips.
That's it.
You tip on catering?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay. So we have done these charity projects, right? And there was this one time we were feeding a hospital, and it was like 50 meals. It was Jersey Mike's, and we got these sandwich packages, and it came out to $800, right? And mind you not, this was like we ordered it 2 days before, so this is just like a come up for Jersey Mike's, if I'm being honest. Like we didn't get it for free or anything; we were paying for it. But then when I go, and by the way, we didn't get it delivered. We went and picked it up. When I go pick up this order, they gave me the receipt to sign the tip, and the tip is $162. And again, this is for charity. Like this is for
Right.
kids with cancer. Like already, we're paying for this. So I left a $20 bill, and I just felt like I don't know. I always wondered, yeah, was that good or bad? I kind of feel like that was good because again, they weren't even.
Yeah.
It's not like they stayed open for us or opened early. It was just part of their day, and they sold like 50 more sandwiches.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think
And-
that was a lot.
Right, because then if we go back to quick service, you wouldn't tip the Jersey Mike's person, right?
Right.
So I feel like, yeah,
That was a lot. Yeah.
because 20% of $800 is $160.
That's a lot.
Like that's a lot.
I have two perspectives on that. If that was me as a customer, I would probably feel the social pressure. I would have paid. But if I was the business owner, knowing that it was for charity, I wouldn't have offered to put that tip there in the first place. I would have even gave a discount for charity if I was a business owner.
Thank you. And that's kind of where I was at. And doing all these charity projects, we're grateful when we get free stuff, but we don't expect it, right? So I was willing to pay, but then, and they also knew it was for charity. So to give me that receipt with the 160, I was like, I'm not doing this. You know what I mean? Because it's like we're
It's a
already.
bit much.
Yeah, it's like expensive tip. But that was my catering story.
I would have tipped the 160.
But do you feel good about it?
No,
Exactly. I want to feel good.
never felt good.
Only tip, yeah, I guess only tip, if you feel good about it.
Yeah.
So if you feel bad, guilty, and I'm gonna be like, fuck, what did I tip? It's
When
like,
when
don't
have
do
I
that.
tipped and I felt good about it?
Never?
Probably never.
Really? No, I definitely tipped and I feel good because it was a great experience. Like I learned, I don't know,
Yeah,
like,
same.
cool conversation.
true.
Yeah. I tipped and felt good. Most of the time it doesn't feel good, but I tipped and felt good. Yeah. You know?
I just don't know what the number is to land on. Like, I could have gave more if it was a great experience. I don't know.
But no, but I also think it's a combination of all these conversations. It depends, I think, on the situation, the conversation, and also to Walter's point, your personal, like, I guess your personal situation. Like, if you got $5 million in the bank and you feel like taking care and dropping $100 on somebody, like, I think that's really nice and generous. I just don't think it should be expected.
I completely agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I like fair minimum wage and no tips. You're just paying for what you're paying for
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, we should go to Australia.
Yeah. Go-
That's right. So
That was the move, yeah.
Yeah. So California, we just got a producer tip. California minimum wage is $16 in 2024, even for tipped employees.
Whoa.
Oh, I'm
Okay,
never-
I want to know what it is in other states now. That's crazy. Everything in California is crazy, though, you guys.
Yeah.
Like,
But so I'm sorry. This just validates my butcher's daughter's
yeah,
point.
whoa.
If she's already, and who knows if they even pay minimum wage? They could pay a little more.
No, probably, and they get health insurance. Like, now I'm thinking
Give me my
that surfers
$20
in
back.
California.
Yeah. I need my 20 back.
Pretty cush.
Yeah. Okay. So we
Huh.
cleared that one up. Thank you.
Whoa. Okay. Mind blown.
But I love the other topic, tipping at open bars. I went to 8 weddings this year,
Wow.
all open bars, and they had all the little tipping thing.
Yeah.
Do you guys tip at weddings?
If there's a Venmo handle, I tip. Yeah,
Cool.
because I usually don't have cash. So,
Yeah, yeah, for
So yeah,
sure.
I tip. It's
What
an
about
open bar. How can you not?
I tip because
Right.
I feel like
Yeah.
if the guys, sometimes the service, the guys are making you actual drinks that are catered to you, and you ask them, oh, can you give me something fruity and add this? And they're like, oh, I got something for you, and they'll put a bit of their extra take and make you a special drink. So yeah, I
No, it's
usually
good.
do. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I always tip. I tip right when I get the first drink, just because everyone in the line is like, oh, is this guy tipping? Just
So it's all
so
social
much.
for you.
It's
huh?
all social anxiety.
Wow,
Yeah.
interesting. I thought you were gonna say you tip the first one because when we go to the lounges together, I always tip really good on the first two
Yeah, yeah.
because they're all free. So the next
And
3 or
then-
4 are gonna be fire.
Yeah.
Smart.
But yeah, I be honest, at weddings I don't always do that.
Yeah.
One because it's really fast, and I'll be honest, at weddings like I'm about to be up here 10, 12 times, so like I'll catch you on one of these other ones, and sometimes
Be
I
back
forget
in
to
line.
do it.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
no, the Venmo thing is helpful though. I'll drop some on the Venmo for sure.
Wait, you guys go to weddings with open bar? No, I honestly, I feel like I haven't been to many weddings, honestly, so I wouldn't even. But I wouldn't tip. Oh, what about?
We know
No.
you wouldn't.
We're changing the topic.
No, would you tip?
I never heard about this thing too.
You see, some
Also,
American thing.
Hungarian weddings, is there open bar usually at reception?
Yeah, we have open bars, but we never tip because it's just like the couple just pay for it. Usually we have to. We pay a bunch of money to the couple, so we don't take
See,
an
I
extra.
actually feel that, and that's why I'm not super passionate about tipping at weddings. Like, even though I'll drop a little Venmo here and there, I don't. It's not like a customary policy for me because again, I probably gave a decent gift to the bride and groom, and also this is like a paid service. So I like that. I like
Fair.
the perspective. Yeah.
So, do you supposed to tip when you crash a corporate party with open bar? Do you have to tip? No, probably not. Right?
You're not even supposed to be there.
Oh, shit. Okay, yeah. Well, I didn't tip, so.
We went to an open bar a couple weeks ago.
Okay,
Before
nice. So-
January started. Yeah.
Nice.
Haircuts, or like salon. Do you tip?
Haircuts for sure.
You
Yeah.
have to tip. Sometimes I've spent hours, like over 8 hours at the salon before. I know when you go from
8
black
hours.
to blonde,
Oh.
and when they spend that long at the salon dyeing your hair, coloring it, putting extensions in, I do. And one time when I was over 8 hours at the salon, I did tip 40%, and I think she deserved it. So yeah.
That makes sense. I've heard that with salon. You too?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Always 20% for salons
Yeah.
and spas.
So
what if when I get a haircut, sometimes it's not exactly what I want, but I still tip. Like, just got to tip regardless.
sorry, that's on you. You're obviously not fixing the problem if you keep giving him money.
Yep.
Actually, so my fiance cuts my hair now because I just have long.
You
on the
give her a
top.
tip?
Nice.
Not monetarily, but yeah.
All right.
You tipper?
That's different activities, but
Yeah.
yeah. But anyways, but yeah, no. When I was getting my haircut, I was actually great point. This wasn't on the production sheet, but I was thinking about tipping haircut people.
Uh-huh.
I was calling them bartenders, barbers.
Right.
No, just 6 years ago when I was living in Sacramento, I was going to a legit barber shop. It was a friend of a friend, and it was $12 haircuts. He like lined me up. It was like really good. Now a barber haircut's like $45 to $50.
Yeah.
It has
And you
skyrocketed.
still gotta tip.
Because of
No, and you
inflation?
still got, Well, I think it's a space of service and creators that you just can't. People are gonna still come. You know what I mean? It went from 12 to 15 to 20, and I don't know. I guess I missed the jump from 20 to 45, but
Yeah.
that's what barbers are charging now.
Yeah.
Not taking anything away from barbers. It's a craft. It's awesome, but it's expensive. And then again, you have to tip now.
And then you
So
gotta tip.
I haven't dealt with a barber in over a year now, because I'm very fortunate that I get free haircuts. But
Yeah.
yeah, what about you, Walter?
I mean, I shouldn't say. It's like you're supposed to tip him. Well, no, I rarely cut my hair. As you can see, I mean, I think the last time I cut it was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I haven't done anything. So I still remember, though, the first time I had a haircut, like a fancy one, I guess. I went to Burbank, like at a home family. I just went. And I remember they charged me $30, and I thought it was overpriced. Because on my hood, where I live, around the area, I remember like going to get my haircut in there, and it was like $10 without tips.
Wow.
So I never really even thought about like tipping until now you guys brought it up. Apparently you have to tip in there too.
Yeah.
No, yeah. So
You
I
gotta tip
yeah.
everywhere.
No,
When,
yeah.
when you get your nails done, or for the females.
Oh,
you
I
get
got
your
my
nails
first
done.
pedicure last month.
Do you tip?
Nice.
Did you tip?
What'd you think?
I'm definitely coming back.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it was awesome. Yeah.
Did you tip?
My mom actually took us for, so she does, my mom tips everything though.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I'm like your mom. I tip everywhere.
Yep. Any other situations that you guys have seen tipping?
Oh yeah. In Hawaii, like, you know, some of the dancers, the girl dancers at the club, they tip the dancers at the like the go-go dancers.
Oh.
Isn't
okay.
that interesting?
Like just
Like the money.
Here you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they put the money on you like that.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was interesting. That was the first time I saw it when I was visiting Hawaii.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Not the strip club, the club.
I didn't want to ask. I was like, are you sure you're I didn't want to be the one to say it. I didn't want to
We're all like, really? Yeah.
The actual club where people are going to dance. Yes, those girls
Naked.
that are... No!
I feel like that's fair, right? I don't know.
Do you tip dancers in LA though? Like I've gone to like places where there's like burlesque dancers and stuff. I'm definitely not like dropping like ones.
In West Hollywood, you know how like you know there's like the drag restaurants and the drag queens come. You can tip them too, and they even hold the buckets. So they get like lots of tips because like every time a new dancer will come and a new one, you know, you just it's like yay! It's just like a fun thing to do to kind of also support like the drag queens as
That's
well.
cool. That's cool. Have you guys ever been to so you've been to a drag show?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you been to a drag brunch?
That's it.
Is that what it is? Okay, cool. Yeah.
Drag
Fun.
brunch. Yeah. So all of them encourage tipping. They encourage all the customers to come in to bring their money, to have their dollars ready. And sometimes if a drag queen comes up and they do a really good show where they're doing flips and they're doing splits, you know, you want to make it rain on them.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Us three were actually going on a Virgin Voyages cruise
fun.
to Dominican Republic in August.
Wow.
And there's drag on there. But
Nice.
I prepaid my tips. So
No tips.
So that's the other
No
thing.
tips.
Have you guys on vacations like package like cruises? Have you guys been on cruises?
I've been on one cruise to Mexico. Yeah.
Okay, so did you prepay your tips or do you defer and then tip in person? Or do you do both?
Do you have to tip on a cruise?
This
So
was
it's
a prepaid cruise trip actually.
Yeah, so
we
there's
didn't
two
have
options.
to tip. Yeah, we didn't have to tip on this, but this cruise it was like the cruise was completely prepaid. Like everybody on the cruise didn't have to pay, so we didn't have to.
Have you been on a cruise?
No, never.
Oh, they're fun. But yeah, and you guys haven't been on a cruise, huh? But yeah, no, when you book, it's like one of the perks is like your tips are included. But what I've felt in the past, because I think when I was younger, I actually deferred the tip, and then I like tipped because you got to tip your housekeeping, your bartenders, your waiter at dinner every night. But what I found, because the last few cruises I've gone on, I paid for the tips, but then you end up tipping more because like socially you feel like, oh, I'm not giving you anything physical. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
What about hotels? We haven't talked about hotels.
Oh, the
Tipping.
housekeeping thing is out of control. I don't think that should be a thing. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it's like housekeeping and things like that.
Or
where, like,
valet.
Yeah. Oh, valet.
valet.
Yeah, valet.
Airbnbs too.
Let's talk about valet.
Yeah, I street park now.
Yeah.
Street park. I street park as much as I possibly can. 100%. Valet.
Still tip.
I don't know. I wonder what the standards are. Like, I feel like it's fair to tip the valet like 15%.
Okay. No, I mean it's a good. I'm always for quick services like that. I'm a quick cash person, so I feel like if I'm stopping at a hotel, picking something up, grabbing my car, like I'm giving them 3 ones. Like I'm never doing the math in my head on like what's 15% or 20%. I just give them a couple bucks, or if it's I don't know, like I had an electric car rental and they like charged my car while it was valeted. Thought that was cool. So you tip like a little bit more. But yeah, that's how I tip those types of things. I don't do the math. I just whatever I'm feeling.
Same. I just whatever I have in my pocket. Here we go.
100 or something.
Yeah. No. No. What?
Oh, you write them a check.
I mean,
Just give me a big dumb number.
I feel like we should tip the airline flight attendants and.
Oh, so I'd never even thought of that.
What?
Do you tip?
No, I don't. But I'm just saying, everyone's getting tips
That's
nowadays,
a great
man.
point, though.
It's probably
That's
on their
actually a great
iPads,
point.
you know?
Yeah.
No, I get drinks on the plane all the time. I never get
Okay, a prompt.
well, I usually get them for free. So
How?
just like I ask their name and say hi. No, I'm dead serious. I can't remember the last time I paid for a drink.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Isn't that
So you get free drinks and you don't tip?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
So Katie actually brought up a point though. We were on a walk last week, and after she got her dress, and she's talking about how we're getting married in Mexico, so we have to transport this dress. So we were like, "Okay, do we bring it as a carry-on?" And I guess flight attendants have special closets that they can share with you. So she's talking about, oh, we should have a tip ready for this stewardess or steward. And I'm like, I never thought of that. I thought, can you just hold my dress? But that's nice, I guess. We could tip them.
Right.
So that'll be my first airline tip.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
I'll let you all know how it goes.
Right.
Yeah. But then do I tip them before the dress arrives safely or after?
I think you know the answer to that question.
Yeah.
Say something. Get canceled.
Walter, come on, Walter. I know you want to say it.
I don't think that people should be, tipping as much as they think.
So-
I think, just companies and like the whole system should just pay everyone just way more than, to make a decent living instead of just like, pretty much they're blaming us for the problem.
They're putting the pressure on us.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
And
you
it
got to
should-
pay a little bit more.
It shouldn't be like that. The problem is not us; it's the country overall, like how it is being run and everything. So it's like, why is my responsibility to make this person a better lifestyle? And if they also decide to work there, I mean, I know maybe it's the easy job the only job they could get, but I mean, maybe just okay. I don't want to get into it, but like, it's just. It's like, it's not my problem. I'm sorry, it's not my problem. I have other problems,
I honestly will have to back you on that because that was kind of what the energy I was coming into this episode with is like, whose responsibility is it? Because I'm feeling all this angst and all this responsibility when the reality is I personally think it's a business owner's responsibility, but the ultimate reality is it's a person applying and accepting a job there for the terms that I've laid across. Because I think if you were getting in the service industry, you can be motivated by tipping. I feel that 100%. But you can't cancel somebody if they don't tip you according to your standards or whatever it is. Because like Disneyland, and people have mixed reviews. I'm happy as shit at Disneyland. Disneyland is fun. Everybody's nice. I've never tipped a Disneyland worker or janitors. They're servicing us. So I just feel like, that's kind of the perspective I had coming into this episode is like, I learned a lot, which has been really cool from everybody, but also like, just being a little more conscious.
I think maybe just don't expect it. I think like maybe that's the people like maybe most of the people working in those industry are just always expecting the tip, but it's like it's an option for all of us, and we have to also feel like that it's an option. It's not obligatory, It's like if you can afford it, then tip. If not, then it's fine too, But just don't feel forced or bad if you don't do it.
I always felt like it was an obligation because I was told that that's how they make their living,
Right.
off of tips. So I'm trying to support people.
I agree with that too. Like, I feel like at restaurants, it is an obligation. At restaurants, bars, it's an obligation. I feel like at the quick service, it's not. Because they're typically paid more from what I understand. Yeah. And like salons, different like beauty services, I feel like it's a standard now. But I think that, like everyone has to come to terms with like, where is like the middle ground, Like we can't all be tipping like 30-40%.
Right. And we can if we want, right?
No, true,
but
true, yeah.
it's like, I just feel like, we should be like aware of it. Like you said, like knowing what we're getting into, knowing what we want to do.
And now I'm going to like start tipping my grocery person.
Yeah. Let's go.
Now
There we go.
Yeah.
Stop
If
tipping.
they get the right groceries. So
Yeah,
with
true.
that service, do you have to tip before or after?
It's before.
See, that's so tough for me. Because if you bring me the wrong yogurt,
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's hard, but
It's
yeah.
tough, but
I have a question for you guys. So for Uber drivers and those guys that bring you the stuff, what's more important, a tip or a review
ooh.
for them? Just to keep doing their thing.
For them, it's a review, I guess.
Because that keeps them their
Yeah.
ratings higher and getting more rides, I think. Which leads me to my next topic is as we're rounding this out, I had an idea for the next time we should all come back, and I'm going to invite an Uber driver, a bartender, a restaurant worker, a DoorDash delivery person, okay, and to have this conversation again. I think it'll be
Yes.
really eye-opening, and they can have a seat at the table as well, because we're talking on our perspectives. We have, obviously, you've worked in the restaurant industry, you worked in service, but at the end of the day, like, I haven't. So maybe it'd be good to know about what grocery delivery people go through or DoorDash. Or we'll find out, like we just found out, that the California minimum wage is $16.
Yeah,
and we're like, all right,
crazy.
you guys are good.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so that's the plan.
Yeah, nice. I like that idea.
Sweet.
Stay tuned for part 2.
Yeah, part 2 coming soon. If you liked what you saw, please be sure to follow all these beautiful people. They're awesome. Thank you for hanging out with us today. It's been great.
Thank you for the invite.
And if you liked what you heard, be sure to like, comment, subscribe.
And touch the bell.
And our Venmo is in the bottom of this account, so you can leave a tip. All right, have a good one, guys. Spread good, baby.
20%, please.
I was thinking 30.